goal of eradicating the Palestinians as a people. That is the goal of Israel. That has been their goal since 1947 and before, and that is what the US has facilitated and funded and armed Israel to carry out. So this is an absolutely despicable situation, and of course now we know that the world leaders who have felt so much pressure for the past 2 years by this mass movement, by the millions of us who have protested around the world, are all now trying to wash their hands of it and say, oh, the war's over. It's over now, nothing to see here. Let's move on. Let's try to re-normalise Israel again in our society. And we see that at every level. Of course, the Australian government, which never stopped funding and arming Israel, just signed another contract with Elbit Systems, another $20 million just a month ago. Now, of course, we see it on the cultural front. Eurovision says Israel can still perform. And a number of governments are now boycotting Eurovision because of that. But Australia is not on that list. Australia continues to say we will participate in the bloodstained affair of Eurovision, which exists to try to re-normalise the genocidal regime in Gaza. And at every level, this is the attempt being made. We saw the absolute farcical display by FIFA, the football world's governing body, invent a peace prize to give to Donald Trump. Honestly, you have to laugh at one level, but this is serious business. That scumbag Infantino, this far-right, corrupt creep that runs the Football Association, invented a prize to give to Donald Trump. It's an absolute disgrace. And he said that the whole football world stands with the Trump regime. What an absolute joke. The entire world stands against Donald Trump and against Israel and against the genocide. And we stand with the Palestinians. So our job here is to not allow our government to try to re-normalise the genocidal regime in Israel, or to not let our governments and our media pretend that this is over and pretend that a genocide does not continue. And that's what we're doing today. It's what we're doing all around Australia. This is another nationwide march for Palestine taking place today. And it's part of an ongoing global movement. And all around the world, we continue to see huge mobilisations. From the UK to, of course, the brave and heroic Italian dock workers and the other workers of Italy that they've launched yet another mass strike. Another mass strike on the 28th and 29th of November, which shut down airports and closed the roads and factories and schools and all the rest of it. And another huge demonstration of 100,000 in Rome just on the 29th of November. So we are part of an ongoing movement. We're going to keep fighting for the liberation of Palestine from the river to the sea, and we're going to keep doing that. All right, and I'm going to welcome up someone who can bring all of that home in a way which I can't. Shamik Badra, who is from Gaza, who recently finally was able to evacuate his mother from Gaza, who suffered so much there under 2 years of bombardment and death and destruction by Israel. And of course, Shamik is an important story also because he suffered the absolute atrocity after one of our protests when he was returning home on the train, and it was the same day that one of those fascist, racist March for Australia protests happened. Some of those racists at that rally attacked Shamik and his brother on his way home. So Shamik's going to talk about that as well, because the men who attacked him have been charged with assault, but they have not been charged with the racist hate crimes, which is what this assault actually represented. That is a real problem. So, please welcome Shamik.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your solidarity, and I'd like to thank Palestinian Action Group for supporting Palestine and supporting justice. Yes, the Israeli occupation continues its genocide, but resistance will continue until achieve our goals of liberation and independence and freedom. In Gaza, its children die with no one to protect them. Families sleep and never wake up. Our people is punished simply for being Palestinian. Their homes, their dreams, their future buried under rubble. And shame. And the colonial powers and racists looks away because it has been taught again and again that Palestinian lives don't matter. This same belief shows up here when someone attacks us for wearing a kufiya, when they scream "Go back to Palestine," when police erase the racist motive. It comes from the same dark place, the place that can't see our humanity. This is why our fight here in Australia and the fight for Gaza are connected. It is the same struggle for dignity, for recognition, and for the right to exist without fear. A multicultural Australia must protect all cultures, not just some. Racism against Palestinians and Muslims is rising in Australia, but the law still pretends it doesn't exist. Evidence can be clear, witness can be me, the hate can be obvious, and still it is labeled common assault. If the law refuses to name racism, the system refuses to protect us. Shame. What happened to us? On 31 of August in 2025, after a peaceful Palestine rally organized by Palestinian Action Group, my brother Majid and I were simply going home. We were wearing our kufiyas. We were our dignity and pride, and suddenly that made us targets. We were told to leave this country. We were pushed, threatened, attacked. Hate from a racist rally followed us into the train carriage. But when it came time to record what happened, the racism disappeared, as if our pain didn't matter, as if our identity was irrelevant. That hurt more than the attack itself, because when the system erases racism, it tells the attackers, you can do it again. Shame!
Shame!
This is not just my story. This is the story of every Palestinian child wearing a kufiya, every Muslim woman wearing a hijab, every person whose identity makes them visible. If the system ignores racism, then no one is safe. And that's a shame. We are demanding justice. Recognize anti-Palestinian and anti-Muslim racism in federal law. Record racist attack as a hate crime. Protect our communities. Track anti-Palestinian incidents nationally. Hold authority accountable when they ignore racism. We are not asking for special treatment. We are asking for equality, safety, and truth. We refuse to be silent. We refuse to be invisible. We refuse to accept a system that erases our pain and ignores our humanity. We stand here today for our community in Australia and for our family in Gaza. We stand here to say our stories matter, our lives matter, our people matter. Let the whole world hear us. Name the racism, see the racism, stop the racism, and let me end with this. We are stronger than racism. We are stronger than hate. We are together stronger, and we can defeat racism. We come from a people who have survived everything from Gaza to here and still stand with courage and dignity. No one will erase us. No one will silence us. No one will make us feel less in our own home. We deserve safety. We deserve respect. We deserve to live without fear. And when we speak out here, we are also speaking for Gaza, for every child, every mother, every family who deserve to live in peace. Our fight here is a part of their fight there. Our hope here is a part of their hope there. So let our final message to be clear. We are here, we belong, and we will keep standing until justice comes in Australia and in Gaza. Say it with me: justice for Palestinians, justice for Muslims, justice for Gaza, justice for indigenous people, justice for all. Thank you so much.
In our thousands, in our millions.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinians.
We are all Palestinians.
In our thousands, in our millions.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinians.
We are all Palestinians.
In our thousands, in our millions.
In our thousands, in our millions.
We are all Palestinians.
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 Thank you, Shami. All right, just before I get our next speaker, I'm just going to announce a couple of events coming up. So there's a couple of very wonderful, beautiful, and important cultural things going on. One is that there's a play that's being performed right now. It's going for, I think, a couple more weeks, called The Return. It's being put on and organised and everything by Ala Al-Qaisi, who's spoken at our protest before. The details for that are on our Instagram, Facebook, and so on. I really encourage everyone to get along to that. Don't miss out. There's only a couple more weeks, I think, of that season of that play running. Be there. Secondly, in January, on the 24th of January, there's a Tales of Our Homeland performance and play happening again. This year is going to feature the one and only Mohammed Asaf coming to perform at that. It's going to be a huge thing. It's one night only, January the 24th. That's happening at the International Convention Centre in Darling Harbour. Same place that held the Weapons Expo. So we good to cleanse the area of the evil spirits and so on. All right, on that note, actually, I'm going to get up our next speaker. Yes, you can come and get flyers for the play, other stuff up here. I'm going to welcome up our next speaker, Tobias Hansen, who was actually one of the people who protested against our Weapons Expo in Darling Harbour, whenever it was, about a month ago. Tobias is from the Students of Palestine group, and he is one of the 13 or so people who were brutally attacked and, in many cases, brutally arrested by the police. Of course, dozens, probably 100 of us were pepper sprayed on that day for the crime of opposing a genocide, for the crime of saying these weapons companies in this building that have profited from the genocide in Gaza, they're the ones being put on criminal trial. They're the ones who should be prosecuted for war crimes. Instead, of course, the authorities and the police attacked us outside, the peaceful protesters. Tobias is going to tell his story. Thank you, Tobias.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, my memories of what happened at the Indo-Pacific are in some ways a bit blurry, in other ways they're crystal clear. We were marching to our assembly point at the IMAX theatre, at which point we were set upon by the police. They came with fists and horses and pepper spray, and they forced us into a crowd crush. I was on the edge of the crowd. I tried to link arms with my comrades, at which point I was dragged out of the crowd, thrown to the ground. I was forced into a prone position. I had a knee put on my back. The cop put all his weight on his knee. He broke my rib. Shame. He handcuffed me. I was hauled away. I was fingerprinted, photographed, interrogated, and locked in a cell for 6 hours. I I was eventually released on bail conditions, banning me from going within 2 kilometres of Town Hall for over a month. But unfortunately for me, the police had no intention of giving me my day in court, because it turns out on the 12th of November, despite being told that I was to attend court on the 3rd of December, the police and the judge met in secret and they convicted me of the crime of protesting against the law. I was convicted in absentia, and I'm now meant to pay a fine of $350 for the trauma that was caused to the victims of my crime, the war criminals, the cops who came to defend a conference of genocide in the ICC. Shame. This is what passes for justice in Chris Minns, New South Wales. War criminals, arms dealers and genocide perpetrators are given a warm reception, while those who protest against the crimes of our ruling class are brutalised, jailed, convicted without trial. Shame.
Shame!
Our leaders aren't defensive about their support for genocide in the weapons industry. Richard Marles was at the ICC, the defence minister. He had choice words for the conference. It's like Disneyland in here, the happiest place on earth. This is the calibre of the people we're up against, the people who run our society. Whether it's Marles, Albanese, Penny Wong or Chris Minns, our leaders have thrown their weight behind Israel's genocide. They back the apartheid state to the hill with weapons shipments and rhetorical support. They rub shoulders and curry favour with Donald Trump. They lie like it's breathing, telling us we're the problem, that we're the threat to social cohesion, peace and civil debate in society. Shame. All this is happening as the genocide continues unabated. Just today, 7 Palestinians were murdered in North Gaza. A 70-year-old woman and her 25-year-old son were stalked and shot dead by an Israeli quadcopter. The same Israeli quadcopters flaunted by the war criminals of the Indo-Pacific. The so-called ceasefire hasn't stopped Israel from bombing al-Mawasi, from hunting children across Gaza. Only days ago they shot dead Fadi, aged 8, and Juma, aged 10, as they collected firewood. Their father, Abu Asi, is paralysed, wheelchair-bound. The day before he was killed, Juma asked his father to sing them his favourite song. He promised to do so the next day. This is the last memory Abu Asi has of his children. Shame.
Shame!
When we see the industrial slaughter of hundreds of thousands of women, men and children in Gaza, the flattening of hospitals, schools, mosques and churches, the denial of food, clean water and medicine, the monsters who run the world see only dollar signs. The means of destruction, human pain, grief and anguish are nothing but commodities to be bought and sold for a profit. Shame!
Shame!
This is a rotten order, and it needs to be resisted. So the next time weapons companies gather to clink their glasses, count their profits, and discuss mass murder over screenings of the Melbourne Cup, we'll be back. No amount of police brutality, no amount of Orwellian bureaucracy, no amount of media slander is going to stop that. And next time, we'll be back with even bigger numbers, and we'll shut down this conference of parasites for good. Free Palestine.
Thank you, Tobias. And there's 2 things that flow from that. Firstly, we have an ongoing fundraiser to try to cover the very large legal fees to try to defend all those activists who were arrested. So yeah, we're aiming to raise $20,000. We're at about 15 or 16, so we're nearly there, but there is a little bit more to go. So if people are able to donate to that, you'll find the details again on our Palestine Action Group, Instagram or Facebook, or there are also leaflets going around with a QR code on it. You can scan that and donate to the Chuff fundraiser thing so we can cover those costs. That will be great. And secondly, So we've already had one mention of some of those activists, their first mention in court on the 3rd of December. The next one is going to be on the 11th of December. So this is not like a full trial or anything yet, it's just a mention in the court, but there is like a little rally that's been planned to support those activists who were arrested. So if you can get along there, that's going to be 9 a.m. outside the Downing Centre on Liverpool Street on the 11th of December. It might actually end up being around the corner because the Downing Centre is close to flooding. But anyway, it'll be near there, so come along. All right. Two other things I want to do just before I part. We've got one more speaker, but a couple of things first. One is, I realise, especially with Renee being unwell and dropping out, we've ended up with an old bloke lineup today, so I apologise for that. We will balance that out with our next rally. We should have an all women or gender diverse lineup next time. It's not ideal. Secondly, I want to, given it's the end of the year, I think it's worth just quickly reflecting firstly on, again, we should all be so proud of the movement we built. We should not forget that this is the year that we saw tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, the biggest ever mobilization for Palestine. This is the year, of course, we all together collectively took over our Sydney Harbour Bridge with $300,000 and marched in the pouring rain. And then a couple of weeks after that, we saw the biggest ever nationwide march for Palestine with something like 500,000 people protesting around the country. We represent the majority. Let's never forget that. Let's keep building and piling on the pressure on our rotten, our political and economic establishment to continue to support genocide. I also just want to take this moment to thank the team, the whole team that makes these protests possible. Everyone here is a volunteer, so all the marshals, everyone involved with the Palestine Action Group, and everyone else who supports all of this. And I want to especially get Mustafa up on stage. Mustafa is the best. He is our mad scientist sound guy. No one works harder than this guy. For over 2 years, he's been here every single week, to provide and set up all this equipment and everything for us for free. He's an absolute legend. All right. With that, I'll pass on to our final speaker before we take to the streets. Our final speaker is Surya McEwen. People will recognise Surya probably. He was one of the brave participants on the recent Global Salute Flotilla. He's only recently had his sling removed from when he was brutalised by the Israeli soldiers when they illegally attacked and kidnapped those participants on that Salute Flotilla. He's going to be talking here today. Of course, he will be the first to say this is just a small fraction of the violence meted out to the Palestinian people. But the flotilla, of course, was so important in shining a spotlight again on this atrocity and helping to mobilise so many people around the world. And there's going to be more to come. So, thank you, Surya.
I'm not going to say many things. You've been standing around for too long already. It's great to be here with everybody. How amazing was Jaden's song before? Incredible. And the brother's not just an incredible songwriter and singer. The struggle that he's involved in at the moment is really important to support, to follow, and to build with him. Our settler government is going after him, whose land this is, for trying to play a song with a guitar that said "No Pride in Genocide" on it. Jaden Kitchener Waters. Follow his socials, go to the Snap rallies, support the thing that's happening, because our state is going after him, and we need to stand beside him. It's easy in a moment like this when the forces that we're fighting against pivot away from the popular sense of the idea that there's an ongoing genocide. We know that this is genocide through a different form. We know that the plan of the genocide of Palestine, whether we say it began 130 years ago, or in 48, or in 2023, we know that it's an ongoing process, and they will keep pushing as hard as they can for the complete annihilation of Palestinian life.
Shame!
Until we stop them.
That's right.
We have to find a way to build and consolidate the threads of all of the parts of this beautiful movement that so many of us have built up in this recent time since Al-Aqsa flood. We live in a moment when Palestinian subjectivity exists in the popular imagination. And for those of us in the Solidarity movement, or for those of us who are Palestinian, who were born into this struggle, who are connected to it over decades, we realize how unique and special that opportunity is, and the historic duty of pushing and collectivizing more and taking advantage of this reality that we live in now. There is a sense among the left that Israel's public relations is irrevocably destroyed. And it's a dangerous and false idea that is just not true. They will very quickly consolidate around, like the global powers will consolidate around Israel, and they can flip that public relations back very, very, very quickly. But what has changed is that Palestinian humanity is recognizable among people all across the world. And we can push stronger and harder and with patience and with strategy and even with the sense of collective joy that despite the grief and despite the horror emerges when we come together in these spaces and realize how powerful we are when we fight with one another rather than being fractured and fighting amongst ourselves. The genocide is carrying on in Gaza, the ethnic cleansing is ramping up in the West Bank and in East Jerusalem. Now is the time to push, and we might come to rallies and see less people and be tricked into a sense that it's okay to feel deflated. And it's not okay for us to feel deflated. When the resistance fighting against the most unbelievable odds, the empire of the world, all of Europe, all of the Arab dictatorships who are proxies of America and Europe, almost the entire world are with dignity and with courage and with moral clarity, putting their lives on the line moment to moment to moment. And all of the forces of the non-violent resistance within Palestine and in the diaspora are not letting themselves feel defeated and are committed to giving everything until the future of one democratic state where equal rights exist for all people in all across historic Palestine. How can we let ourselves buy into this sense of deflation? We cannot allow ourselves to do that. We must come together and be stronger and more confident than ever. Whether it's forcing our representatives to operate in a different way, or it's coming to protests, or it's doing fundraisers, or it's putting our bodies in between the weapons companies and them getting to Israel and joining the apartheid, the brutal military occupation and the genocidal process there. We have to find a way to connect these threads and support them. Tobias, my brother, we're like broken rib brothers. When not all of us can go and be on the front lines and deal with that violence or deal with the legal consequences. But when people are doing that, when you take days off work to go to a thing, there's legal consequences, there's consequences to our bodies and our mental health. Chip in, like support the fundraiser. Think about it as though you would be with them and give what you can to make these things possible. As Josh was saying, the violence that we experienced on the flotilla, we are very aware of how much it is the five-star Western passport privilege version of the violence that occurs for people in this struggle on the land of Palestine. But if you think of it from our context, it's fucking crazy. I was bombed at sea. I had my shoulder dislocated, 2 broken ribs, severely sexually assaulted, taken hostage in prison, and our government didn't say anything. Like nothing. And so we're building, as all of these threads build, and things are happening in the cultural institutions being set up in Australia, not just to fight against the Israel lobby, but to build a lobby that's our lobby, that's strong enough that it doesn't need to be fought because we can push the institutions in the way they need to be pushed. All these things are happening as we build the next flotilla, which will be bigger and will be stronger. It is an important point of leverage. When we have citizens from this colony who are going across the water, sailing into the Holocaust, trying our best to break open the concentration camp and bring aid that's desperately needed, but also to create a rupture with the political work and open up the spaces globally for the liberation of Palestine. We need to use that leverage in whatever we can in our movements. So as we build the threads, when the time comes, we can get closer to shutting down this colony to our comrades in Italy who did it in Italy, who enabled the possibility for those openings to happen. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for your courage and commitment, your moral clarity. This beautiful community, it's an honor to walk alongside you all, and let's carry on the fight until liberation.
Thank you so much, Syria. All right, we're just going to have one more quick word from Dahlia because, well, I'll let her explain. Hopefully people know Comrade Dahlia from the Palestine Action.
Hi everyone, I just thought I'd say a quick word. Yesterday was actually the 2-year anniversary of the martyrdom of Dr. Rifat Al-Adim. I'm sure a lot of you remember and know, but we obviously all know that Israel does target truth tellers, it targets poets, targets, many people, paramedics, and anyone who wants to tell the truth. So Dr. Rifat was one of them. He was killed in an airstrike in northern Gaza 2 years ago, along with his sister, his nieces and nephews as well. Shame. I thought just in memory of him and what he aspired to do here on earth, which is tell the truth and share his story, and he also co-founded We Are Not Numbers. I wanted to share his poem that we've all heard before, which is If I Must Die, which is, if I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze, and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. And with that said, we will start marching now, so I'll pass on back to John.
Thank you, Dahlia. So we're going to march now. Instead of marching out here, we're going to be marching onto Market Street, straight out that way. But please don't move yet, because we just need to get the sound trolley to the front before it all gets too full of people. So yeah, please just stay where you are right now until we get the sound trolley forward. And then, we'll be heading out that way. Also, please, as always, help us carry the big flag and bring that with us on the march. Let's bring all of our anger, our righteous anger and demands for justice and liberation to the streets, loud and proud. From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Keep it going.
Oh, leave it, leave it. They put it, they mean it. No Middle Eastern, no, not Palestinian.
Yeah, now 75% of the people are probably white.
Yeah, of course. No,
I'm proud.
I'm telling you.
Aboriginal people that were here 2
I
years
feel
ago.
shame of the Arab and the Muslim, even Palestinian.
They should be out here every week.
Yeah.
So,
Shame.
do you know when the next Sunday?
I'm not sure. They're going to mention.
So I'll see it on the website.
We are right. It's all right. You say the right person. That message sent to the Palestinian and Arab and Muslim to come. That's the message.
Thank you again, my brother. Appreciate it. See you the next one, mate.
Yeah, thank you. I thought you were gonna play a lot because I wasn't did the setup, you know.
Oh no, maybe at the next
Because
one.
I was a bit busy with the audio and all that stuff.
Maybe at the next one.
Next one, you play 2 or 3.
Yeah, that'll be good. Thank you, brother.
Right.
بالعربي ولا بالانجلش؟
بالعربي. وجه لي اياها رساله للعرب.
شو رايك كويس الكلمه كانت؟
بتجنن.
انت اللي بتجنن بس يا راجل الكل بلطش فينا عشان فيش احنا مش متحدين.
خليك لحظه شوي بدي منك نداء للعرب والمسلمين. شفت اليوم قديش في استراليه بس. لحظه شوي لهونيك. تفضل هون.
اقرب؟
لا انا ببعد.
انا ليش لابس طاقيه؟ لاني جيت شعري هيك طاير.
طيب طلع صوتك هلا.
فقلت خلص بدي احط طاقيه.
لحظه شوي. هذه هي. اوكي. خلينا ننقل المايك. تفضل.
ايش بدك انت بالضبط؟
نداء للاخوه العرب والمسلمين في استراليا. لبوا النداء، واقل شيء هو اللي بنعمله نحن نزولنا على الشارع وقانونا نحن
على اساس نزل على الشارع واساس العنصريه.
نسجل نحن على اللايف هلا. تفضل.
تحياتي للجميع، وهذا نداء لجاليتنا العربيه والاسلاميه انه من المهم جدا انه نتواصل فيما بيننا لمناقشه العنصريه التي يتعرض لها الفلسطيني والعربي والمسلم ايضا. وهذه الظاهره بدات تتزايد في ظل عدم وجود قوانين تحمي الفلسطينيين والمسلمين. ومن هان انا بقول انه بعد ما تعرضت انا واخي الى هجوم عنصري فقط لأننا نرتدي الكوفية الفلسطينية، وبعد أن قمنا بتسجيل الواقعة وتم نشرها على معظم وسائل الإعلام، ورغم وضوح الأدلة إلا أن الشرطة في أستراليا هان لم تقم بتوجيه اتهامات عنصرية إلى المهاجمين، واكتفوا بأنه هجوم عادي، وتم حذف كل التعديات العنصرية فقط من أجل حماية هؤلاء العنصريين. ولكن يجب علينا أن ندرك بأن هذه الحادثة ليست حادثة شخصية، هي حادثة من أجل هويتنا، من أجل أنه يرعبوا أو يخوفوا الناس أنه ما تطلع في المظاهرات التي تدعم فلسطين. كمان إذا إحنا فتشنا في القانون الأسترالي على المستوى الفيدرالي ما في أي بند بيقول التعدي على الفلسطيني أو حتى على المسلم هو إشي أو هو يعتبر من العنصرية. وبالتالي سأقوم بحملة من أجل توسيع تعريف العنصرية وإدراج الاعتداء على الفلسطيني أو الاعتداء على العرب أو المسلمين هو نوع من العنصرية، حتى أن نكون متساويين مع التعدي على اليهود اللي بيكون فيها انه ضد السامية. وبالتالي يجب ان نبدأ بحملة للضغط على البرلمان حتى يتم ادراج التعدي على الفلسطيني او التعدي على العربي او المسلم هو من العنصرية، حتى يتم محاسبة كل من تسول له نفسه التعدي على الفلسطينيين مجرد انهم فلسطينيين او انهم عرب او مسلمين مجرد انهم مسلمين. وأنا يعني خلال هذه المظاهرة ركزت على أنه لازم أنه يكون في عمل منظم من أجل مواجهة العنصرية التي يتعرض لها شعبنا وجاليتنا والناشطين الذين يدعمون فلسطين. كمان بدناش ننسى أنه طالما القانون ما بحاسب التعدي على الفلسطينيين يعني ممكن تتكرر. فتخيلوا أنه أنتم جايين على المظاهرة وأنتم أبنائكم وترتدون الكوفية ويأتي أحد هؤلاء العنصريين والتعدي عليكم. لا يمكن أن ننتظر مثل هذا التعدي. يجب علينا أن نبحث سويا سبل التصدي للعنصرية وحماية شعبنا الفلسطيني والناشطين والجالية العربية والإسلامية. وشكرا لكم. تمام؟ طلعت هذيك.